Gregory Anthony Isaacs was born 15th of July 1951. He was one of Jamaica's most beloved vocalists. Born in the Fletcher's Land area of Kingston, Jamaica, Isaacs arrived in the music business via the talent show circuit, a tried-and-true formula for many of the island's budding singing stars. Byron Lee was the first in the industry to spot his talent and brought him and Winston Sinclair into the studio to record the duet Another Heartbreak in 1968. Sadly, it went nowhere, and Isaacs decided to try his fortunes with a new vocal trio, the Concords. They set up home at Rupie Edwards' Success label, and over the next couple of years released a number of singles, including one with Prince Buster, but none caught the attention of the Jamaican public. In 1970, the Concords folded and Isaacs struggled on alone. His initial self-productions were similarly unsuccessful, while further cuts with Edwards did no better. Regardless of this poor track record, in 1973 Isaacs set up his own record store and label, African Museum, in partnership with Errol Dunkley, a young singer with a string of hits to his own name. Apparently some of Dunkley's own magic wore off, and one of the label's first releases, Isaacs' own self-produced and quote, My Only Lover and quote, was an immediate hit, and the floodgates opened wide. Besides African Museum's offerings, Isaacs helped keep the label solvent by recording with virtually every producer on the island for a stream of hits that showed no sign of abating. He recorded for other producers to finance further African Museum recordings, having a string of hits in the 3 years that followed, ranging from ballads to roots reggae, including All I Have Is Love, Lonely Soldier, Blacker Kill Black, Extra Classic, and his cover version of Dobby Dobson's Loving Pauper. In 1974, he began working with producer Alvin Ranglin, and that year he had his first Jamaican #1 single with Love Is Overdue. Isaacs recorded for many of Jamaica's top producers during the 1970s, including Winston Niney Holness, Gussie Clarke, My Time, Lloyd Campbell, Slave Master, Glenn Brown, 11 Coco, Harry Mudie, Roy Cousins, Sidney Crooks, and Lee Scratch Perry, Mr. Cop. By the late 1970s, Isaacs was one of the biggest reggae performers in the world, regularly touring the US and the UK, challenged only by Dennis Brown and Bob Marley. Between 1977 and 1978, Isaacs again teamed up with Alvin Ranglin, recording a string of hits including Border and #1 for Ranglin's Gigi's label. International stardom seemed assured in 1978 when Isaacs signed to the Virgin Records offshoot Frontline Records and appeared in the film Rockers, in which he performed Slave Master. The Cool Ruler, which became one of his nicknames, and soon Forward albums, however, failed to sell as well as expected, although they are now considered among his best work. In 1981, he made his first appearance at the Reggae Sunsplash Festival, returning annually until 1991, and he moved on to the Charisma Records offshoot Pre, who released his The Lonely Lover and More Gregory albums along with a string of increasingly successful singles including Tune In, Permanent Lover, Wailing Rudy and Tribute to Wadi. He signed to Island Records and released the record that broke through to a wider audience, Night Nurse, the title track from his first album for the label, Night Nurse, 1982. Although Night Nurse was not a chart hit in either the UK or US, it was popular in clubs and received heavy radio play, and the album reached number 32 in the UK. It was also used in adverts for an over-the-counter cold and flu remedy of the same name. This success for Isaacs coincided with problems with cocaine. He served a 6-month prison sentence in Kingston in 1982 for possession of unlicensed firearms. Isaacs claimed that he had the weapons only for protection, but it emerged that this was his 27th arrest and that he had become involved in drug dealing and was addicted to crack cocaine. He celebrated his release from prison with his second album for Island, Out There. 1983, Yellowman wrote the song Gregory Free, also celebrating Isaacs' release, and was later featured on the Young, Gifted, and Yellow album. He was featured in the 1982 documentary Land of Look Behind. When his contract with Island ended, Isaacs returned in 1984 with the Cool Ruler Come Again single, and began a period of prolific recording, working with producers including Prince Jammy, Hugh Redman James, Bobby Digital, Tad Dawkins, and Steely and Clevie, maintaining a consistent standard despite the volume of work produced. Isaacs then built a strong relationship with Gussie Clarke of the Music Works label. They began with Isaacs's 1985 album Private Beach Party, and had a hit with Rumours in 1988, which was followed by further popular singles including Mind You Dis, Rough Neck, Too Good to Be True and Report to Me. The association with Clarke continued into the early 1990s, teaming up with singers including Freddie McGregor, Ninja Man, and J.C. Lodge. He duetted with Beres Hammond on the 1993 Philip Fartis Burrell-produced One Good Turn, Burrell also producing Isaacs's 1994 album Midnight Confidential. In the 1990s, the African Museum label continued to release all of Isaacs's music, and that of artists he produced. In 1997, Simply Red covered Night Nurse. Isaacs continued to record and perform live in the 2000s. In 2005, Lady Saw produced another version of Night Nurse with her toasting over the original lyrics. Isaacs's drug addiction had a major impact on his voice, with most of his teeth falling out as a result. Isaacs said of his addiction in 2007, "Drugs are a debasing weapon. It was the greatest college ever, but the most expensive school fee ever paid, the cocaine high school. I learnt everything, and now I've put it on the side." He performed at the ICC Cricket World Cup 2007 inauguration at Jamaica, and in 2007 he collaborated with the Spanish rap group Folklóricos' Rafael Lukowski album Dond Dual Inspira. In 2008, Isaacs released a new studio album, Brand New Me, which was nominated for the Grammy Awards for 2010. The album received positive reviews from critics. Reggae Vibes wrote, "Gregory is back, and how? Brand New Me is a very suitable album title for the Cool Ruler's new album. He is back in a different style, more or less like we were used to from this great lovers and roots artist." This was followed in 2009 by the album My Kind of Lady. In 2010, Isaacs put out the last of his albums to be released while he was still living, Isaacs Meets Isaac, with Zimbabwean reggae singer King Isaac. In November 2010, Isaacs Meets Isaac was nominated for Best Reggae Album for the 2011 Grammy Awards, Isaacs's fourth Grammy nomination, and King Isaac's first. Isaacs died of lung cancer on the 25th of October, 2010 at his home in Harrow Weald, London. A memorial service was held on the 20th of November at Kingston's National Indoor Sports Centre, including a musical tribute from artists including Lloyd Parks and We the People Band, Ken Booth, Freddie McGregor, Shaggy, Judy Mowatt, Mavado, the Tamlins and Bongo Herman, before his remains were interred at Dovecot Memorial Park and Crematorium. The Gregory Isaacs Foundation was set up on the 15th of July, 2011, Isaacs's birthday, by his wife June Wyndham, with the intention of continuing his charitable work. A year later, a free concert was staged featuring artists such as U-Roy, Big Youth, and the Mighty Diamonds, to raise funds for two schools. In July 2015, a mural by Junior Moore depicting Isaacs was unveiled at 125 Orange Street, the former site of his cash and carry shop and now the Lego recording studios. The unveiling also saw the launch of Cool Ruler Spring Water. In 2016, the Jamaican government announced that it would posthumously award Isaacs the Order of Distinction, Officer Class, in recognition of his contribution to the country's music.